This is Between the Brackets, a MediaWiki podcast, episode 66, August 3rd, 2020. Welcome to Between the Brackets. I'm Yaron Koren, and my guest is Raimond Spekking, also known by his username Raymond. If you go to the special version page on any MediaWiki site, you'll see 37 authors listed there for MediaWiki. 6 of them have already been on this podcast, and now I'm proud to have number 7, Raimond Spekking. He's a longtime MediaWiki volunteer developer, and for his day job, he's a MediaWiki consultant. Although he's probably best known not for either of those things, but for his side hobby of taking photos for Wikipedia. His photos have ended up not just on Wikipedia, but on countless websites, news articles, etc. I'm looking forward to talking about all of these things and more with him. So, Raimond, welcome to the program.
Hi, Yaron. Yes, thank you. Thank you for the invitation to this podcast. It's new for me, so Let's start. Let's start with the
Great.
questions.
One question at a time. That's how we do it. So, where do you live?
I'm living in Cologne, Germany.
Yeah. Are you originally? Have you always lived there?
No, I was born in Emmerich. It's 150 kilometers from Cologne at the River Rhine. So, but it's for me. North Rhine-Westphalia is my home.
Yeah. So, how did you discover Wikipedia?
Oh, it was, I think, 2003. It was a computer magazine, the CT. I do not know if it's known outside of Germany.
I think I've heard of it, yeah. It's sort of like the Wired of Germany or Europe or something.
Yeah. And they've written about a new system, a new encyclopedia, where everyone can write, everyone can edit, and it sounds interesting for me. And so I started editing. I'm pretty sure I've never edited with an IP address at first, but I've registered my name Raymond and start editing about my hometown, Emmerich.
Yeah. Have you been continuously editing it since then, pretty much?
Yes, I continued from then. Now 17 years. Yeah. It's now unbelievably long time to continue for this fantastic project. And I think every month, every week I've edited.
Yeah, that's amazing. When did you first think to start modifying the software as well?
I do not know exactly the year, but there were some bugs or glitches or things I think I did not like, and I think, okay, let's do it better. And as it is open source, I started. Yes, I created an account for SVN in the past times, and I really have no idea what exactly I have done at first. First patch, something I would like to improve for Wikipedia, especially.
Well, okay, that makes sense. When were you most active in developing core MediaWiki? Do you remember?
It started, I think, 2007, 2008, roundabout, and from this time on, from this year on, continuously until today.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you used to do more core MediaWiki stuff, and now you work more with extensions and yeah.
Yes, that's right. First, I started with core, then a few extensions or improvement to extensions. That's right. Nowadays, since a few years, I specialized in my voluntary part for the localization, for internationalization,
right?
For Translate Wiki and so on. And I think it's important, a small but important part of the project.
Sure. Yeah. No. I wouldn't. Sure. Not small at all. I would say. I mean. Yeah. It's come up in a few recent episodes. Just support for people, for non-English speakers, and how important that is.
I think for me too. I speak German is my native language. I speak English, a bit of Dutch, but I was never aware since 2 years ago that, for example, Russian or other languages have more than one plural forms. So it was new to me, and I think it's more new to a lot of developers, and it's important for the translators.
Yes, I didn't know that either. Depending on the gender or something.
Yes, sure.
Okay, well, yeah, that's how it, right. Yeah, that's how it is in Hebrew also. Well, so how does that affect translation?
The translations are affected by plural forms or gender forms for a lot of languages, because not in German. German is, I do not say that German is an easy language. It's not, but kind of plural and gender forms. It's I think relatively easily. But for French, for Russian, for I think Arabic, for I do not know exactly all of the rules, plural rules and gender rules. I know Polish have, especially for gender, other forms of the Slavic languages. So I do not speak all these languages, but all they have some specialty in for the translation.
Yeah. No. Well. What I'm asking is how does that affect? I mean, for anyone doing for anyone setting up messages for translation or helping with that, what kind of things should people be aware of if they're developers?
Okay. Every time you use as developer, you are creating a message with, let's say, for 1 more days, for 2 more days, for X more days on the watch list or so. The number is a variable, is either the configuration or it depends on the system itself, and every time there's such a number you have to use a plural keyword, the plural magic word.
Right.
So the translators can choose the plural form for their languages, or the plural forms for their language. So also, if you speak about, directly to the user of the wiki system, you have to. I do not mean you, but the user. You have to click on this icon.
Right.
This U is in English and in German it's identical, but for a lot of other languages it depends on if the user is male or female or trans or whatever for gender it is.
Yeah. I always forget to do. Well, I forget to do all of that stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely aware of the plural thing. I didn't actually know there was something for gender, some kind of keyword or something you're supposed to put into internationalization messages, which makes sense.
Yes.
And I guess that's kind of this kind of thing you do. Go over extension messages and see what the problems are and improve things.
Yeah. Sometimes developers add me as reviewer to the patches so that I can review the patch itself or I do it most of the time for the plural or gender thing. So the new messages will come with correct syntax to Translate Wiki. If I see it later on, sometimes I'm sending a patch in, submitting a patch, so that these things are fixed.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. But you do stuff that's more involved than that, no? Also, not just, fixing typos or, well, not really typos, but...
Yeah, sure. All kind of things I see. Yeah.
Okay. Do you work at all with Nicholas Lackstrom from Translate Wiki was on this podcast early on? You work with those people? Okay. Yeah, that's a really valuable service, and I don't think there's any software that handles translation better than MediaWiki does, as far as I know, even commercial software.
I don't know. I have no comparisons with other software. But I think we are doing a good job here.
Yeah, okay. Have you worked on other, I'm sure you've worked on other software, but other, any other large-scale applications?
No. It's MediaWiki with the extensions, and that's it. The rest of my volunteer time, I'm working I'm for Wikipedia and taking photos for Wikimedia cons.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll definitely get to that. I was curious. Since you, as someone who was doing core MediaWiki development a long time ago, well, 15 years ago or so, was it easier? Was the development process easier then? Was it easier to get patches in?
Kind of easier, kind of faster, I think. Nowadays there's a lot of quality management. You have to write unit tests, you have to write other tests so that the quality of MediaWiki keeps in good shape, and it needs more time. Yes, it's right. Sorry, my cat is coming.
That's all right. Yeah, there have been pets on this show before. Maybe, yeah, maybe never a cat. I don't know. Yeah.
And I think it's important to know some people who can review your patches, so that they will be reviewed fast and come into the core or the extensions. If someone is new to MediaWiki, I think it's more difficult, sure, but you need more time and you need more what's the word? You need more
patience.
Patience. Thank you.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
Yes. You need more patience so that your patch will get an +2 and get submitted to core and so on.
Yeah.
But it's possible. Sure.
Is that part of the reason you've moved away from core MediaWiki and toward extensions, or?
No, it's a question of time. I have. You said I'm a MediaWiki consultant, so I do it for my clients, developing extensions most of the times. Or installing MediaWiki and give lessons how to use it. So my time is limited. The day has 24 hours still, and the rest of the time is going to taking photos and so on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So let's talk about consulting. You have a consulting business called MediaWiki Beratung, which I think just means MediaWiki Consulting in German.
Yes.
When did that start?
It started around about 10 years ago or 9 years ago. Life changed. I moved from Emmerich to Cologne, and it was time to do a new a new job, and I started with this consulting. It works. So I get a lot of clients. I'm not getting rich, but it's okay for living.
Yeah, that's great.
The money for living.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's great to have a steady income from consulting. Is great. It's really the best of both worlds, I think, because you have the freedom of consulting, but you also have the financial stability.
Yeah. So it works well for me, and in times of Corona, it was a bit harder. Lockdown here in Germany too, and visiting clients was impossible, and it's nearly impossible. So more and more doing remote. Yeah.
I see. So you tended to go to businesses directly and talk to them, or actually do your work there at people's offices, or what?
Yes, in the past years it was normal that most of the times I'm going to the office of the clients, of the customers, and work there. Changed.
Yeah. Do you do all your business in Germany and in German, presumably?
Yes, it's in the German. Sometimes Switzerland, sometimes Luxembourg is also a client of mine. But I do not do my consultant in the whole world.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I bet if your website was in English, you would get inquiries from many more parts of the world. But I'm guessing that's a choice that you'd prefer to stay.
That's
local.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So it's interesting to have you on. There have definitely been other consultants on the show, but they've all come directly or indirectly from the semantic MediaWiki world, I would say. Even the ones who aren't using semantic MediaWiki are using extensions that came from that same world, like page forms and cargo. Those are all different extensions.
Page forms sometimes, but I do not consulting for a semantic MediaWiki.
Right.
It's very special. It's a good product, but it's very special, and I have not used it for my clients. Also not the whole semantic. How do you call it? Semantic. It's an extension on the one side, but it's a complete universe, I would say. Kind of.
It is, yes. I mean, well, the cargo extension is an alternative, which is less. I don't know what the word is. It's less of an entire ecosystem. It's just a single extension, but yeah, okay, yeah. I wasn't sure if that was the case, but I thought that was the case, that you really are setting up wikis that look and act like Wikipedia, more or less.
That's for most of my clients. It's important to have a wiki that most of them starts installing MediaWiki for their own, and it's open source. Everyone know it, and you can install it and run it. So, but at some point they need a consultant to get all the tricks and magic out of MediaWiki. Then they will call me or another consultant.
Right. So what's a typical project? I mean, what kind of things are people interested in, in adding to or improving in the wiki?
Most of the clients are using the wiki, the MediaWiki, as knowledge database for internal information. They are often secret or not for public use, and so use it for text only. Sometimes for images. Sometimes media repositorium, but most of the time for text only.
Yeah. And I mean, do they want? Is there ever custom development?
Yes, it happens for to manage some data. Not so much data that we can use Wikidata, Wikibase, for example, but sometimes have developed extension for calling or for integrating an external database, for example, where other data are stored, but not to copy it into this MediaWiki installation, but to request the information from the other system.
Yeah, okay.
Not another wiki, but another database.
Sure. Well, if you're interested, that I have an extension called External Data that does something similar to that. I don't know how it compares, but I just want to. More if anyone's listening and they want an extension that does that, they can try it. External Data. But yeah, that's cool. Okay. And I assume there's stuff like integration, login integration.
Yeah, that's an often requested feature. Single sign-on, LDAP. What's it in English? LDAP. LDAP.
Yeah, LDAP. Yeah.
Sorry. LDAP integration.
Yeah. Cool. Do you ever have to sell MediaWiki? I mean, convince people to use MediaWiki instead of some other software?
It happens, but not so often. Most of the times I have decided for MediaWiki already.
Right.
As I come into the company to improve the existing MediaWiki installations. Sometimes they have 2 or 3 other CMS or wikis, and I tell them about MediaWiki, and hopefully they will choose MediaWiki, but not every time.
Yeah. Well, what is your pitch, if anything?
I think the pitch is it's open source, and it looks like Wikipedia.
Yeah.
That's the most important. If the technical
the feature set or something?
I'm missing a word. Just a second.
Okay. It's the benefits of translation.
So easy. If the technical requirements
okay.
are okay for MediaWiki, they use MediaWiki. If the customers have very strict regulations that one people may edit one page only, and the other people may only edit 2 other very strict access rules. It's hard for MediaWiki. I would say MediaWiki is not the right one.
Yeah, you're talking about access control, where only certain people can view and edit certain pages.
It is a lot of things are possible with access control. It's more than Wikipedia has as access control.
Sure.
Sometimes the rules are so strict, it does not make sense to use MediaWiki. It happens.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's when things like, well, I don't know what people generally use in cases like that. SharePoint definitely has a lot of access control. So.
I try to consult them, to say to them, trust your clerks, trust your guys. They will use it, the wiki as a wiki, but sometimes the company is not ready for an open system.
Yeah, okay, right. Open, not in the sense of open source, but in the sense of, everyone can edit anything.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It tends to be, it tends to be a much bigger fear on managers' part than it should be. The idea that everyone can edit anything. Yeah.
That's a problem, but it's not my problem.
Okay.
So it's their truth.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it would be great. I don't know if there's a good standard way to convince people about that even though any random person can edit your some page, they probably won't. Although I should mention there's there's flagged revs, and then there's my approved revs extension, which does essentially the same thing, which sometimes that helps to reduce people's fears, sometimes not, but
yes, that's approved revs and flagged revs are important extensions to convince the company. Yes, that's right.
Okay. It's interesting that you've now been both a core MediaWiki developer and consultant. I think for a lot of other software, especially open source software, it's pretty common for the developers of that software to also go into consulting or support for that software, to make money. But for MediaWiki, it's actually pretty rare, at least for the core MediaWiki developers, because everybody prefers to just work for the Wikimedia Foundation.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider working for the Wikimedia Foundation or Wikimedia Deutschland?
There was one time there was one job for introducing the visual editor. It was not a developing job, but more or less a community liaison for the visual editor. But the WMF Wikimedia Foundation chose another person from Germany as community liaison. That's okay.
Oh, I see.
But I've never tried to get in contact with the Wikimedia Foundation for developing things. So.
Yeah, okay. I assume you could if you wanted to. But anyway, okay. Well, so you fine. I mean, it's nothing. There's nothing wrong with being a volunteer developer. Who was it? Derek Jan Hartman was on the show before. He's also a volunteer, although he doesn't do consulting either. He's just strictly volunteer. So since you do have the perspective of being both a core developer and consultant, I think you have it's a rare perspective. From the vantage point of a consultant, is there more that you think MediaWiki developers could be doing to help what's sometimes known as enterprise MediaWiki usage, whether it's specific features or...
I do not think that most of the companies either use plain MediaWiki with some of the well-known extensions, or they have so special requirements that I have to, or every other consultant have to develop their very specific extensions. So I see not how the MediaWiki core could be more, could go more into this business.
Well, you mentioned read access control, fine-grained access control.
Yes.
Obviously, there are extensions that help you do that, but I suppose, that's something that the various people talk about that would especially help, usage outside of Wikipedia, or only help usage outside of Wikipedia.
I'm not convinced that more access control technique should go into MediaWiki core.
Yeah.
Every time I try, I think I said it a few minutes ago, every time I tried to convince my customers to be more open in the sense of trust into the into their people. Yes, more access control is not the way we should go.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. But it's there are definitely arguments both ways. Well, how about just in terms of marketing of the software? The Wikimedia Foundation doesn't market MediaWiki at all, essentially. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's not necessarily something that they are obligated to do, but I wonder if it's something you wish they did more of in one way or another.
I do not see that point. MediaWiki is well known. A lot of companies are trying MediaWiki. Some call me.
Yeah.
The point is Wikipedia is using MediaWiki. That's the most important advertising for the software.
Yeah, sure. You couldn't even put a price tag on that kind of advertising. Sure. That makes all the difference, as you said. If people want their own Wikipedia internally. Okay. Well, one thing that has come up, one other thing that they could be doing is creating some kind of MediaWiki Foundation in one form or another that takes funding specifically for MediaWiki development, which could include extension development, and some kind of consortium, maybe with companies who are using it, the way that there's a Linux Foundation, all that kind of thing, to to help. What's the word? Now I need to look it up. To help pool resources and do development work that otherwise might not get done because it's not important for Wikimedia sites specifically. I don't know if you've thought at all about that kind of thing.
If this is done, I think it should not done by Wikimedia Foundation. If another foundation should be founded for this, a commercial foundation, or I think it does not work. Commercial and foundation in one word, in two words. But,
yeah.
I mean,
consortium.
Consortium, yeah. Why not? It could be a try, but I have not think over it. So I do not know it at the moment.
Let's talk about your photo work, because it's pretty amazing. I looked into it. It looks like you might have uploaded something like 20,000 photos to Wikipedia.
So much?
It seems like it. Over I guess the last 17 years or something. When did you start? Did you start uploading photos to Wikipedia? Right away.
I think the first year, as I started with Wikipedia, with editing Wikipedia, I've taken photos of the churches in my hometown.
Yeah.
It's the classical photos I think I can do, or everyone can do. And 1 or 2 years later, Wikimedia Commons was founded, and I started contributing to Wikimedia Commons. At first it was only some images from the town where I'm living, or where I was in vacation. Vacation.
Yeah. Right.
Later on, since I'm living in Cologne, I'm doing a lot more. I'm visiting press conferences in the town hall, or at the airport, or whatever.
Yeah.
To document the living of Cologne, the economy of Cologne, the society of Cologne, the politics of Cologne, and so on. Today I was on a press conference for the election of our Lord Mayor of Cologne. It's an election starts is in September, 2 months from now on. And our Lord Mayor Henriette Reker introduced the new what's the word? Plakate.
Platform or something?
No, let's see, sorry. The posters, the billboards.
Oh, okay, right.
Sorry. For the Wahlkampf, for the
yeah. No, I get it.
Wahlkampf.
Yeah,
for the election campaign. So that's the word. Election campaign.
Yeah, those posters tend to be a bigger thing in Europe, I think, than in the United States. You see, when you walk around Germany, other places, you see, the candidates' faces all over the place.
Yeah. It's not so in the USA?
No. No, you don't really see. You see people put signs in their houses or from their window and lawns or something, but usually it's just the names of the candidates. You never see people's faces anywhere, pretty much.
That's very different to Germany or to Europe.
Yeah.
Very interesting, yes. So I've not uploaded these photos. I came at home 2 hours before our call here, so I have to develop the photos, the images, and upload them. And they're doing a lot of technical photos. We have a community space here in Cologne for Wikipedia. With a small table for taking photographies from objects, and I'm disassembling old and broken smartphones and computer and all kind of electric and electronic stuff.
Yeah.
And details from the integrated circuits about the printed circuit boards and all kind of stuff that is inside.
Right. Yeah. Is some of that lockdown influence? Like there's less happening in the outside world to take photos of, so you focus on these other things.
No, I'm doing this since 4 or 5 years.
Oh, okay.
But the lockdown was a good moment for me to take photos from Cologne in the lockdown, to document the lockdown.
Oh, yeah.
On the side, and on the other side, it was easier to fly with a drone. We have a drone in Cologne, and to fly high over Cologne. No planes were in Cologne, over Cologne, so it was easy to fly high away. Not highway.
Yeah.
Wait. High over Cologne.
Yeah, I understand. You have a plane?
No, a drone.
Oh, I see. Oh, wow! You have a drone, and it takes photos. You have a camera. Yeah. Oh, nice.
Sorry for my English sometimes.
No, okay, yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Oh, that's really neat. There's one photo I saw. That I looked through a bunch of the photos. There's one photo I saw where it seemed like you were actually doing photojournalism, and that was a photo of a shatterproof window or something that had been sort of broken into, that was covering a jewelry store from, I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago.
Yep.
Were you just randomly walking by there and you saw it or something?
Just randomly.
Yeah.
Every time I'm in the city of Cologne or going shopping, I have the camera with me.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I'm taking photos of everything that is kind of special or needs documentation. So.
Yeah. Is it hard to just relax? Because you always have to be in that mentality of looking for photo opportunities.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Luckily, my wife is also a Wikipedia writer and
Okay.
a photographer, so she understands when I take photos. When I say, "Hey, just wait a second, I have to take a photo."
Yeah. So for a lot of these photos, you haven't just uploaded them. You put in metadata on Wikimedia Commons, which often that includes a description, both German and English. In some cases, you've put in Wikidata properties as well, like who is depicted in the photo. And then for photos that have been used on websites and news articles, in the talk page for those photos, you have a listing of all the places they've been used. And then in those listings, you also specify whether the usage matched the terms of the license by including your name and the name of the license. And that's not even everything, because I think you've also added Wikidata properties for a lot of other people's photos as well.
Yeah, that's right. Every time I see photo used on the newspaper or website, I'm documenting it. And also if there are photos of other people, other Wikimedians, yes. I have the luck that my name, Raimond Spekking, is unique in the world.
Oh, is that true? Okay.
I guess it.
Right.
I've never met this name not for me, not mentioned me. So
right.
Maybe there's one. I don't know. So Googling or searching via Google or Bing or whatever for my name is it's easy to find usages of my photos.
I see. Okay, I was wondering how you find there's no ping back functionality or something.
No.
You just do a Google search.
I do not know if this term is known in English. I say ego googling.
I've heard ego searching a long time ago. I heard that. Yes, right.
Normally I do not find images that are not credited to me.
Right. I was going to ask about that. But you do
sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm using TinEye or reverse Google search, but the time is limited for all these things.
Yeah. Okay. So for every one of these usages that you found, there could be a bunch more that you just don't know about.
Yeah.
So what kind of places have your photos appeared? I mean, have you ever just randomly read a newspaper or something and seen one of your photos?
In newspapers, sure. In books.
Oh, really?
Sorry?
Yeah, I said, oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised, actually.
I got a package from a publisher who used 2 of my photos in their book. And they sent me the book, the printed book.
Oh, that's nice.
Example, how they have used the image. So it's not a must, but I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really nice of them. What have been your most popular photos, do you know?
Popular photos are from Cologne, the Dome, or the politicians. I have taken photos from the Lord Mayor here in Cologne, or other politicians. I have taken photos. Some in the time before Corona has broken a lot of things. I was in the television studio for the Hard Aber Fair. It's a German television format and talking format. And every week we could take photos of the guests in the show, talking show. So I got a lot of prominent politicians, and these are very often used. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess there just aren't that many, freely licensed photos of a lot of these people. So here's something I was really curious about. Let's say that someone wants to take photos to put on Wikimedia Commons with just the goal of getting them to be as widely used as possible. And we'll say, for the sake of this question, this is for maybe a few years from now and the pandemic has ended and everyone is just living normal lives again. What would you recommend that they do? I mean, what kind of photos should they be taking if the goal is just to get as many people as possible to use the photos?
Nearly every kind of photos, I would say. No party photos, not from your friends.
Well, okay,
drinking a beer. So, yes,
already good to know.
But every photo that shows a city, shows a church, shows politicians at work, not in private situation, but at work, are useful for Wikimedia Commons and for Wikipedia. So. And the better the photo is, the better it is, the usage is. Try to make clear, clean photos, but not shifted by 5 degrees or so. And it's sometimes I see photos that are horrible.
Yeah. Okay.
So I do not say that every of my photo is good. Of good quality, surely not. But try to make clean photos, good photos.
Yeah, okay. But I would think some. I mean, obviously, party photos are an example. I would think some subjects are just completely covered. Like there's no point taking another photo of the Brandenburg Gate, for instance.
Maybe not. Yeah. Go to We have it's an international competition, Wiki Loves Monuments. I think you know it.
Yeah, it just came up in the previous episode, actually. Yeah.
Yes, it starts every year in September, I think. Take photos of the monuments in your neighborhood, of the heritage buildings. Not every time the Cologne Cathedral or other big buildings, but yes, take good photos of the other buildings too.
Yeah.
That does not mean that they are often used. Okay, but we need all of them.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's definitely good advice. Cool. Great. Yeah, I mean, this is a MediaWiki podcast, but it's always nice when we get into stuff about Wikipedia, Wikimedia sites, and I guess open content in general. So it's great to talk to you because you bridge all these different worlds. I think those are all my questions. Is there anything else? Is there anything I missed? Anything you want to talk about?
No, I think you have asked a lot. You are very well prepared about me. So I think that's points. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you very much, Raimond, or Raymond, as case may be. And it was great talking to you.
Yes, thank you very much.
And this has been another episode of Between the Brackets. I want to again thank my guest, Raimond Spekking, MediaWiki developer and consultant. Thanks to all of you for listening. Stay productive, and I'll see you next time.